for the social entrepreneurship community. I have had a front row view of the boom underway in social entrepreneurship. As a social entrepreneur myself, co-founder of Spark, a network of millennial philanthropic donors who raise money to support gender equality, and a lecturer in the program on social entrepreneurship at Stanford University, I have watched the launch of so many exciting innovations for good. And yet, while for many nonprofits this has been an invigorating and transformative time, so many other nonprofits, like At the Crossroads, have struggled on the sidelines. Despite doing important work, they operate in constant survival mode, scrambling for the money to make payroll every month. In 2014, almost two-thirds of reporting public charities in the U.S. had an annual budget of less than $500,000. I became obsessed with understanding how nonprofits can get off the treadmill and attain organizational sustainability, which I define as reliably raising around $2 million in annual revenue. Of course, for some organizations, a small budget is sufficient to sustain their operations and be highly impactful. Scaling revenue also does not necessarily equate to scaling impact. An organization can be very good at raising money with programs that aren't really making a significant difference. But many organizations that have the potential to do a great deal more good by scaling and that are trying to grow faster are stymied. I learned this the hard way in working to grow Spark. I co-founded the organization in 2004 with 6 friends from my undergraduate days at UC Berkeley. We wanted to create a membership network of young professionals to raise money for other organizations focused on issues of women's equality. As recent college grads living in San Francisco, we saw that there was no shortage of charitable galas to support, but rarely did those events educate their guests about the problem addressed by an organization or give them an opportunity to get more involved. Over drinks one night after work, my friend Maya Garcia said to me, "These events are leaving so much untapped potential on the table. What if we do something different?" Our hope was that if we could connect young people to social causes in a meaningful way early on in their careers, that they could become participants in the social justice movement for life. Passionate about global women's issues, we decided to start there. We invited some other friends to join us, and 7 of us crammed into Maya's studio apartment over the course of several months, sharing several bottles of wine to begin planning. We held our first fundraiser in a small art gallery in San Francisco and were elated when our promotional work led to a line around the block of people coming to donate. We had earmarked funds from this gathering for an organization of women in Rwanda, rebuilding their lives after the genocide, for whom we raised $5,000. That felt like $1 million to us. As we continued to network, we doubled our revenue every few months, and by our 3rd year, we could afford to hire our first executive director, Shannon Farley. By then, we had over 10,000 members, but we had hit a wall. As I witnessed other exciting new nonprofits take off all around us, we began struggling to find more growth capital. We explored creative fundraising ideas, but we couldn't bring in more than $500,000 annually. Year after year, we found ourselves spending inordinate amounts of time chasing gifts in increments of hundreds or thousands of dollars, barely making ends meet. We kept hearing about new forms of venture philanthropy being pioneered by leaders in the technology sector, such as Bill Gates, Pierre Omidyar, and Mark Zuckerberg, but none of that money was reaching us at Spark. In 2007, I decided to leave my job as a corporate lawyer and started teaching international human rights and social entrepreneurship at Stanford University so that I could devote myself full-time to advancing social causes. Teaching with the program on social entrepreneurship, where we host highly successful social entrepreneurs in residence for a quarter, I began hearing stories like ours at Spark over and over. Nearly all organizations struggle with the scaling challenges Spark faced. The difference with these social entrepreneurs was that they had somehow managed to overcome them. I wanted to understand why some social startups had beat the scaling challenge so successfully.